Early in the going here in the heartland at Kansas Speedway, it's been a little bit of a wild and woolly race so far. In race 6 of the chase, Casey Mears hard into the outside wall in that 13 car, bringing out the first caution, little pit strategy on that yellow flag, and then Kyle Busch bringing out yellow number 2, spinning from second place off of turn number 4 down into the trioval grass. Scott Speed, free pass on the first yellow, no free pass on the second caution. Our telecast today presented by Ram. And we come to the restart with Eric Almirola. On the inside lane, the race leader getting a good jump on Ryan Newman. Newman hanging tough on the outside for a challenge from Jimmy Johnson for second.
See A.J. Allmendinger back there trying to make a move on Craig Biffle.
Allmendinger having a great run here. Got that 51 car up in 5th spot right now. Casey Kane trying to make that high line work. He saw Craig Biffle go by him earlier, and Biffle right in front of him.
Logano thought Logano was going to look down a little lower there for 3 wide. Here's a couple wide behind him. Martin Truex Jr., 56, and the championship leader, Brad Keselowski in the 2. That's 9th place that just changed hands.
Three wide.
Casey Kane in that 5 had all kind of troubles getting up off of turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like they still just don't have this car tightened up enough for Casey Kane yet.
A lot of people talked to me in the garage this morning and yesterday about how critical restarts were going to be from behind the wheel. That because of the aerodynamics and the speed and the hard tires and all of the different elements that go into today's race, when you're doubled up for that restart and they wave the green flag, you must be aggressive and get everything you can as quickly as you can.
Yeah, and it's the most tense moments as a driver. As you can see right there, Casey Kane getting a little bit loose again. Martin Truex trying to take advantage, going to the apron, try to make this pass. Not going to quite get there this time, but really a tense moment. You're jacked up for this, the double file restarts. You know there's not a lot of racing room, but it's an opportunity that you really have to strike.
Jimmy Johnson clearing Ryan Newman for second place. 48 car. Steady and solid in the opening laps. And already Almirola, look at the gap he's opened up while they raced for second place.
That car has shown speed right from the very beginning, and then as we saw in a longer run in that first time out, that the car didn't fall off much. So Eric Almirola's got a nice car. Brad Keselowski trying to make this outside work. He got up a little higher down in 3 and 4 the last lap than what I think he really wanted to. That allowed Clint Boyer to get to his inside, but now he's able to pull away.
It's 10th place for Keselowski, who started back in 25th.
Seems like what I've seen so far, that second lane is a little better in 1 and 2 than it is in 3 and 4.
What do you think the odds are that camera makes the day, the way those cars are sliding around there in turn 2?
When we see these cars, yeah, keep inching up higher and higher too.
Joey Logano, 20. Casey Kane, 5, 7th and 8th places. Logano's been really solid in this chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. No, not eligible for the championship, but he's got top 10 finishes in all but the Talladega race in the chase so far.
Like Casey Kane's car's trying to come back to him a little bit. Like I say, you have a loose race car. A lot of times it takes 5 or 10 or 12 laps for it to come in on these restarts.
They work there for 7th and 8th. Up front, Almirola works to try and extend his advantage over Jimmy Johnson. As Johnson, now clear of Ryan Newman, tries to track him down. about to complete the 53rd lap of 267. In today's race, our telecast presented by Ram.
Back at Kansas Speedway, this newly repaved and reconfigured Kansas Speedway, we are 59 laps complete with Eric Almirola in that Richard Petty Motorsports number 43 car out front. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear from pit lane to victory lane. Every NASCAR driver counts on Goodyear tires. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. 5-hour energy rapid recap, going to get us caught up on what has happened so far. There's a lot going on with this new track. Lots of variables, Brad.
Yeah, it really is. And we're seeing some passing lanes, a lot of speed. Eric Almirola has been extremely stout, but guys really trying to figure out where they can get comfortable and run.
Tell you what, this track is finally starting to come around. Like you talked about, the second groove is starting to come in. We saw Kyle Busch spin out, though, off at turn 4, which is a big surprise because the track looked good, and then he just lost it all by himself.
There were some people who were afraid that this track would be a single groove track. So not the case.
No, so not the case. A single groove on the track. Those guys are double wide on the apron. Everything we've talked about before the show is happening. We're getting too wide racing, but we are seeing some very loose race cars.
Eric Almirola out front by nearly 2 seconds, but right behind him, one of the chasers. Let's get up to speed with them, Dave.
10-4 on the loose race cars. That includes second place Jimmy Johnson right now. He just radioed in to his crew that the car is loose, and the response back was all the way through. He says, well, when I'm exiting the corner and I'm getting fully on the gas, then it's fine. But other than that, 48 car is loose, Vince.
Well, running in third place on the track is Greg Biffle. Biffle came into this race 6th in points, but he's been hot lately, gained 5 positions the last 2 races, and they knew they had a good race car again today, and Biffle has proven it. They did make a track bar adjustment on that first stop, but Biffle says it's real good right now. Doc?
Running back in 4th spot, Matt Kenseth, not worried about winning a championship, pretty much out of it. They're worried about trying to run up front and win races. They changed 2 tires when they came in, and Matt says after air pressure out of the front, the car really loose on entry. Hard to get the car in using the throttle. Vince.
Casey Kane started on the pole, but right now he's running 7th. He dropped back almost immediately. The car's been hitting the splitter at the beginning of the run, but then as the run goes, the car comes to him. Kane just radioed, we're getting a lot better right now. Casey Kane currently running 7th. Jamie?
And Martin Truex Jr. started this race 16th, running 9th right now. Remember, back here in June, he was the class of the field. He led 173 laps, only to be passed with 30 to go and ended up 2nd. They're here for redemption. The car's been a little tight, but going forward, Dave.
Great recovery so far for the championship leader, Brad Keselowski, coming into today's race. Started 25th, took on 2 right side tires on that first run. It was tight in the first run. This run, though, quite a bit looser, Brad has radioed in. Another one of those cars that's a little bit too free, Doc.
How about Kansas Clint back in 11th spot? He grew up in the farm country of Kansas, and that's appropriate because right now Clint said this car is plowing. He said, I can't get in the corner. The car will not turn coming up off, although basically he has now moved up to the top of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, and said just now he is finding some more speed up there. Now back behind him as far as chases are concerned, Denny Hamlin, who was running 6th, took 4 tires, restarted back in 19th, and now has gained a couple of spots. Denny's issue right now is that the car is just too loose to run up high. They told Denny, we can move the car up a little bit, we can get more speed. He said, I can't get up there right now. I am just very loose. Jamie.
And Jeff Gordon started this running 18th right now. Before the last stop, he said he was a little tight on throttle, and when they came in, they took right sides and fuel. And then his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, said, that was my fault. We should have taken fuel only. Right now, Jeff Gordon saying he has a little bit of vibration, and he's lost some grip, Vince.
Tony Stewart qualified 33rd, didn't get a good qualifying lap, so they knew there was going to be a big challenge for them making their way up through the field, especially with this narrow groove. Car started tight. They put a spring rubber in the right rear on that first stop, and Tony says right now the front end just is not working good enough. Whether or not that's something that's aero related or car related, they're still trying to figure that out. The 29 of Kevin Harvick, he says it's just way too loose. They did come in and top off earlier, so they've got about an 8 or 9 lap advantage from that perspective on the competition. They say their cars are better than what their finishing results have been in the chase. Still haven't scored their first chase top 10. Nicole?
6 chasers in the top 10, but they're all chasing one driver, and that is Eric Almirola, who at this point in the race has been out front for 61 laps. We're at lap 69 with green flag pit stops. Coming up, more from the new Kansas Speedway coming up in just a few minutes.
Caution flag is out again here at the Kansas Speedway for trouble in turn number 3. A.J. Allmendinger's car about to be towed away after a very hard impact. You see A.J. is out of the car and okay. Watch that red and white 51 car.
Just as he's entering 3. Right front tire lets go. Hard impact into the wall, but he is out of the car and okay.
Yeah, one thing though, he felt something, it looked like earlier, and he had slowed down some down the back straightaway, so maybe it wasn't quite as hard as it could have been.
Fortunately, had a really, really good run going to this point.
Odd. Casey Mears had a right front problem in turn 2 earlier, and now Allmendinger's, and both were after 31 laps of green flag racing. Coincidental, but just odd.
It seems like these new repaved tracks are hard on any tire. I don't care who it is. It's just they're just so hard to build tires for, and the speeds are so high, and this presents a ton of challenges. And if you don't have that set up exactly right, it can overwork one tire.
Yeah, and if you don't get your car exactly right, it's always tempting to put that a little bit more camber in that right front if you were having a turning problem.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's worth speed.
Yes.
Last pit stops at lap 33. Pit road will be open 40 laps later at lap 73. And we expect about everyone to be in. There were a handful of cars that came in on lap 42. But again, that's been already some 30 laps of racing. Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, the top 5. And here they come, Doc.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth said, guys, I'm still free on entry, but don't touch it, so leave it alone. They're going to be 4 tires topping off with Sunoco fuel. Dave Burke.
Jimmy Johnson said the exit of the corner was good, running in second place, but going into the center, the car was loose. They'll do 2 tires again for the 48, Jamie.
And the 43, he has been great, already led 65 laps today. Right sides and fuel will be the call. No adjustments, Vince.
For Greg Biffle, Matt Pusha, the crew chief, encouraging him get the wheel straight as he enters the box, clean in and clean out. Greg wanted no changes. They're going to make right side tire change, and that is it. Filling it up with Sunoco fuel.
And a lead change on the pit lane. Jimmy Johnson out ahead of Eric Almirola. Another strategy session on the pit lane under caution here at the Kansas Speedway. And the leader in control of the restart will be the 5-time champ, Jimmy Johnson.